I really think I need an intro when I film like this. Happy Monday. It is good to see you. How was your weekend? Did you do anything fun? I had the privilege of helping put out a motorhome fire, or at least being on the scene for that. It was Sunday. Everything was good. We were at the Sweat Lodge grounds. We had just finished up our ceremony. We had eaten. We were just getting ready to tidy up. And all of a sudden we hear this like ding, 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 and then smashing through the trees. Now, maybe in your neck of the woods, this is a normal occurrence. For us, not so much. So we ran up the hill to see what's going on, and we get up there and there's this motorhome that has careened off the road. There's vehicles behind, people lying on the pavement, smoke and fire coming out of the motorhome. Suffice it to say, it was a little bit dramatic. So we ran, we got fire extinguishers, we managed to get everybody kind of safe and pulled out of the vehicles. We eventually found out that the motorhome had been sitting for a while and they were taking it to go and get it inspected so they could take it on a trip. And while this young guy and his sister were driving the vehicle, all of a sudden flames started shooting out from underneath the vehicle right by where the pedals were. And so the ding, 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 ding was the guy throwing it into park and trying to slow the vehicle down. But of course didn't work. It was like not catching. And so he grabbed his sister and threw her out of the vehicle, and then he jumped out of the vehicle and then it careened into the trees. Now, of course, because I'm a helpful, sensitive person, the first thing I said was, "That was my favorite tree." Okay, it's not the first thing I said. I did say it eventually to try to calm people down. The police came, the fire department came, ambulance came. Everybody's mostly okay, a couple bumps and bruises from jumping wildly out of a vehicle that's moving and on fire. And as we were sitting there and kind of calming down and people were getting ready to finally leave and go home again, I started thinking about the fact that if we hadn't been done and if we hadn't have been there, we wouldn't have been able to help them out. But most importantly, that when it came right down to it, all we could do was help. We couldn't not make the vehicle crash. It had already happened. We couldn't not make the people fly out of the vehicle. They already decided to jump out. But we could do everything we could to help them figure things out. That the best thing that we could do when they were in crisis was to figure out how to help them just get it down so that they could take care of the rest. But that ultimately it was their crisis and we were just there to sort of make it as small a crisis as they would let us. We might have to put up with the consequences of it, especially if it started the forest on fire, but ultimately it was their stuff. And I'm not saying that this was a really poignant metaphor for me, but it was a really poignant metaphor for me. It made me think about my entire life and my career as a helper and how ultimately all I can ever do, all I could ever do is just help people minimize the destruction that the chaos that they're in might cause. That ultimately it's still their chaos. And in fact, if I try to run in and take over and completely do away with it, I'm just making it worse. And it was an important thing for me to remember, not just from the stuff going on in my personal life right now, but the fact of the matter is that I'm terrified about what's happening in the US right now. I mean, terrified. But it's also not my country, not my president. Don't even have a president. We just have the most gorgeous prime minister. Very, very pretty. Ultimately, all I can do is just try to minimize the damage that is going on around me and help where I can. Some people might find that really disheartening. I find it really freeing. I've said it before and I'll say it again. One of my best friends, Tilly, talks about how boundaries are love. And one of those boundaries is saying, no, I can't fix this problem, but I'll help you fix it. To all the people who watch this, all of my fam out there, if there's a way that I can help you fix the things, I'll happily do it. But if you ask me to fix something for you, I'm probably gonna say no. And I'm doing it because I love you and I want you to figure it out. That being said, if your vehicle catches on fire, you know, you don't have to think about clear boundaries. Just take care of yourself, I'll help out. His feet were literally, trying to think about how many people I've known that have actually caught on fire. I don't think it's a non-zero number.